Alright guys, welcome to the review video of the Elecaenta solar panel. So this video is broken down into a few parts. The first part, I just undo the panel and then show you what it's like on its legs and how even it is and the angle. Then I go straight into testing. So I'll be testing it with my portable power station to read the wattage. I have a couple days of that, where one is partly cloudy, one is full sun, and then I go into the USB ports, making sure they work effectively. After that, I go into more details on the accessories you get with it, as well as the different features of the panel that aren't just the panels themselves. And then I conclude it with my coupon code that the company gave me to give you guys a discount. Overall, I really do like this panel. It performed very well for its tests, as you'll see. But I just want to give you that in the beginning because I know this is a longer video. So I hope you enjoy it and let me know if you have any questions. In this section, I'm going to undo the solar panel just to show you how it unfolds and everything so you can get it to properly stand and all of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to flip the camera over and I'm going to do it with one hand because I have to hold my phone to record. So we'll see how that goes. All right, first off, press these at the top, then it comes undone. Now I'm going to set it on the ground here. Okay, and let it unfold. And we have these 4 massive panels. Now, it's time for the kickstand, for the legs. Looks like they are here. And then you just undo these. 1 second. Okay, and for the right leg, you just undo the Velcro. And you should be set. Now I'm gonna get the other one. All right, so both legs are out. And as you can see, they're pretty taut as those little bottom straps are fully out. And we have a good angle. Now, I'm not going to measure the angle or be that precise, but you can see that there's a pretty good angle. The sun is straight up this way. It's a little cloudy and it might rain later, but that's what it looks like. And then here's how straight the panels are. This is the first time me putting it on its kickstand or legs, and so far it looks good. The ground I have it on is uneven, so it's actually going like kind of, the ground is higher here, it slopes down a little bit, so obviously the panels aren't perfect. They're not like perfectly straight, but they're pretty close. And since it's a foldable panel, it makes sense. See those 2 panels, one all the way to the right, and then the third one in from the right. Yeah, they're a little higher, and then the other 2 are like exactly parallel and they're a little lower. That's just the way that it is folded, so it looks pretty nice, and looks like we're getting some sun in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect it to my Rockpals power station to give you a test. All right, so now that I'm undoing the cable for the first time, this thing is very long. Now, this is great. However, I'm curious of how much it affects the actual input you get from the panels, or the output you get from the panel. So I'm going to connect this connection to my Rockpals and see how much power we get. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the Anderson connector in. The Rockpals, this is the Rock Power 500. I have a video on that. I'll probably link it up in the upper right for you if you want to see that. And right now we're getting 28 watts in. So this is a 120 watt panel, and they typically, the good ones, get 80% efficiency. So that means that you'll get about 90-ish watts maximum. Right now we're getting 27, and I'll show you the sun. It is behind clouds. So it's probably gonna rain later today. So considering that we're getting something out of it from the cloudy weather, is pretty awesome. I will hopefully be able to record this when I'm getting more sun. All right, so we have some better sunlight right now. It's slightly covered by like some shallow clouds, thin clouds. So now I'm gonna plug it in to the rock pails to get a reading. To see how fast this thing charges up. All right, so I just put it in. 43, 54, 67, 75, 80 watts. That's pretty awesome. 78, 77 watts. So slowly lowering because of the cloud cover. All right, now the sun's back on this. And as you can see, 84, 83 watts. So 84, I think, is the highest we've gone in this section of the video. But I mean, that's pretty nice coming into here. I'm curious to see if I can get some full sun in here, but I'll keep you updated. So guys, I thought I'd mention that right now is pretty much exactly 12 p.m. And right now it's early August in the Midwest, so that might affect the amount of sun you get in. On a sunny day, usually you get 5 hours of full sun on average. Depending on how often you get sunlight, say you live in the southwest of the US or something like that, you can definitely recharge more because you just have more hours of sunlight. However, here, right where I'm at in the Midwest, I'm definitely going to get less than some desert area in the summer. But the sun goes down around 8 o'clock or 8:30 right now, and it comes up around 5:30. So obviously the summer is going to be a huge benefit for charging power stations like me or the batteries or anything. But just keep that in mind if you go on like a camping trip or something, or if you're using it for just backup power to charge stuff. That's going to be important to know, especially if you have winter or fall seasons where the sun is a lot less prevalent. So just thought I'd mention that. All right, so it's about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Sun is going right down on the panel. I didn't wet the panel or anything. I'm gonna see if we can get more than 84 watts into the rock pails. Let's see how much we're getting right now. Then I'll spray some water on there to see if there's anything better. Oh, there we go. Now that's what I was looking for. You can see 96 watts coming in. Let me see if I can get a better angle. That's what I'm talking about, 96, 97 watts. Now that's what I couldn't find on the humid days where it was partly cloudy. It looks like in the morning, that's when it's gonna be best for at least my panel, because the sun is probably angled perfectly with the panel. The sun is like, it's not directly above head, so it looks like it's hitting these panels perfectly. So it looks like 97 is the best we're getting right now. So taking that 97 watts and then dividing it by the 120 watts capacity of this panel, you get an efficiency of about 80.8. So about 81% efficiency. That's probably the best I've seen. Usually the higher quality panels have about 80% efficiency. So this thing is performing really well, but the humidity and the angle of the panels to the sun definitely affect how it will perform. So right now we're sitting at 94 watts coming in pretty consistently with a clear sky. So I'm going to use a little water on the panels and see how it impacts the input. Should increase it at least a little bit, but let's see how much. All right. So after adding some water, got a little increase. Let's see if we get anything more. So I think it was at 94, really just giving it like an extra watt or so. Nothing too much, but now we're at 95. Not really making any difference at all. Okay guys, so I have the USB-C plugged in and you can see that little red light is on. I'm gonna see how much power, if we can get that full 45 watts that was listed on the specification sheet for the USB-C. Okay, so I have this very short cable, so I'm gonna pause right now and connect it and come right back. All right, guys, so I have it connected, and we are getting 56 watts into the system from the USB-C port, USB-C PD port. We're getting 54, 53 watts in, 56 watts from the USB-C port. That is more than what was listed. It was listed at 45 watts max, and right now we're getting 55 in. And this is the Sherpa power bank. It has a maximum of 60 watts in. That's blowing my mind right now. There's nothing else connected, but let me go ahead and connect the rock pails in again, and then we can see what we'll get. So I just connected that. Okay, now it's going down to 27, 29 watts. Oh, it's going a little crazy right now. Oh, it's because the sun is changing. Now we have some cloud cover, but we're still getting 20 to 25 watts. It's still decent, but there is a little hazy, thin cloud over, so it's going pretty sporadic. Now it looks like it's not like stopping the charge. Oh, it looks like it did, because the difference in power was so much that I had to shut off. So on a sunny day, this should be fine to charge, but I'd say if there's a lot of clouds and it's going to be on and off, it's not going to be ideal to charge from USB at all, because you might as well charge your portable power station or something. I mean, because this is turning on and off. However, we were getting a huge amount of power from the USB-C port individually when it wasn't connected to the rock pails. So even in a pretty cloudy sky, we're still getting 21 watts in straight from the panel. Now I'm going to test the USB-A port. So I have the USB-A to USB-C. I'm going to connect this into my power bank, so it'll read how much will come in. Let's see how that performs. Plug it back in. We're still getting a maximum of 13 watts coming in from the USB-A to USB-C cord. So it looks like regardless of whether I'm using the USB-A port with the rock pails, or whether I'm just using the solar panel with the USB port, either way, it gets 13 watts maximum from this quick test. So I believe it said it's a quick charge 3.0, which gets up to 24 watts of USB-A output from the panel. So my guess is that if I were wrong in my testing, then maybe this cord or the power bank that I'm using has a certain limit to how much it will charge from USB-A. So other than that, it seems that I was getting a consistent 13 watts from my USB-A, from the USB-A port of the solar panel. So guys, for my last test, I'm going to be using both USB ports for the solar panel, the USB-C and USB-A, to connect to the power bank to charge up, and then I'm also going to use the main connection, the Anderson connection, for the rock pails, and let's see how much power gets distributed. All right, I just hooked up the panel with the other cords, but I'll connect this one first just to get the base reading. Not a cloud in the sky. Let's see how many watts come in. Okay, so we're at 88, 89 watts. And then let's go ahead and connect the power bank. Right here, I'm going to connect the USB-A to USB-C. Alright, I haven't connected the USB-C to USB-C yet, but guessing we'll get 12 to 13 watts in. Okay. And the Rock Pals is 74, so it evenly distributed it. Just took it away from the total for the Rock Pals. Now let's connect the USB-C and see what happens. All right, just connected the USB-C to USB-C. And now we're getting a total. This is very confusing. It's fluctuating 34. So it's shifting a lot, but the sun is not changing. There's not a cloud in the sky. Now, this could just be for this power bank because it's probably not really interpreting what's coming into it because it has both inputs in, and since it's from solar, it's probably not the best at measuring and keeping a consistent input. Now, if this were a different power bank, so if I had these two cables going into two different devices, it probably wouldn't fluctuate as much, but the power is definitely shifting enough to where I wouldn't want to do this. So, I mean, for my situation, I would just charge from USB-C to USB-C instead of USB-A. So I'm gonna unplug this and then you'll see it probably a big increase in power and more consistent. So just from USB-C, you can clearly see that it's not only higher, but it's more of a consistent input, 41 watts. So I'll go ahead and plug this in again, the USB-A to USB-C, and then see if this changes. I'm pretty sure this has to do with the power bank not really understanding what's going on, and it's probably shifting power between USB-C and USB-A inputs. My guess is it's going to go down again, but we'll see. Okay, well, since unplugging that USB-A, it looks like the Sherpa, the power bank, read what was coming in and then just stuck with the USB-C, because I'm sure if I disconnect this one, the USB-A connection, USB-A to USB-C, it might stay at 42. We're still getting 42. Let's see. Okay, 41. All right, well, that's the test pretty much. With all of them connected, let me go ahead and plug these both in and then show you what it says on the Rock Pals. See how the power is being distributed exactly. Okay, so I just reconnected, 42 watts in consistently. Now let's check the Rock Pals. So the Rock Pals is getting 49 watts in. Now, let me disconnect the USB-A section, probably get the same amount in. 42. Let's make sure that the Rock Pals is matching. And it's matching pretty much exactly. So these cables, or this one cable, is super long. I mean, that panel is maybe 4.5 feet long, just my guess. Maybe 4 feet long. But this cable, it's got to be like 10 feet long, maybe more than that. And it has these two connectors, but down here, about 2 feet down, there's this little connector. And if I undo that, so this section here is where you're going to connect the other connections, which I'll show you in a sec here. All right, so this long cable connects to all of these other connections. They have a lot of different, it looks like we have 10 of them total. And I mean, obviously I don't know what all these connect to, but they connect to different power stations. So you just connect the back of it to this section. Make sure it's in all the way. And it looks like this one is fully in, and there's a little gap here, so I'm pretty sure that's fully in, and you can connect it to whatever power station or laptop or battery that has these 10 different connections, or one of these 10 different connections. Pretty cool. So on the solar panel listing on Amazon, which I'll link below, and maybe I'll put a picture up here from there, it has a diagram of what these different connections can connect to. I believe they had a Jackery power station on the image, and there were several laptops and other like portable power stations that that these different connections can plug into. So you can get a good idea of what connections they'll work with for your situation. So that's pretty cool. I know Rockpal's solar panel comes with a lot of connections like this. I know that Goal Zero and Jackery ones have their own connections, so you're not going to find a bunch of versatile ones like this. So keep that in mind, and if you have other things you want to power, getting a solar panel like this one that comes with these different connections is the way to go, especially if you want to charge more than just one specific battery or power station, laptop, you name it. So another thing about the solar panel legs is that the reservoir, so this houses the cabling and also the USBs, you'll be able to charge whatever you need underneath the panel. If you have some questionable conditions like rain or mist or anything, you can charge it underneath this panel as long as you put it at the right angle so no moisture gets to the ports. But that's a benefit to having legs. I know that the Goal Zero Nomad 100 solar panel, as far as I know, does not have legs or a kickstand, and there's several other examples, but since it doesn't have a kickstand, you can't charge underneath it while it's standing up, because you have nothing to stand it up unless you make a makeshift sort of deal to stand it up. So that's one benefit that these legs do have. Not only do you get the angle of the panel to get more wattage from the sun, you also can charge underneath it if it's potentially raining. Now I'm going to clip on the carabiners here, and they're just simple little levers, and just place it into these little metal grommet holes. Alright, so I just hung the solar panel up pretty poorly with the chain link fence in my backyard. These clips came with it, and they hooked decently on here. Obviously this is not the most ideal position to have the panel, but I just thought I'd show you the clips in action with this panel. Now, one thing I did realize is that this section right here with the grommet holes is a lot easier to work with than this section, just because you have more of the flap covering. You have to find a good area to clip onto. If you do run into issues, you could of course use zip ties and just tie it up against wherever you really need it. I'm guessing the majority of people are going to either use these to tie up against their maybe car or tent to camp with or something like that. But the clips are a nice addition. However, you definitely have more versatility with zip ties in that fashion. Now I have the panel laying flat. To fold it up, simply tuck in this end, place it down, and then just keep folding, and then clip it in, and then you're all set from here. Alright guys, so for this test, it looks like everything went to plan. It looks like getting the good sun in the morning at a good angle for these panels really helps to increase the output. I mean, initially I was sitting at about a 70% efficiency, and I got about 81% efficiency from these panels in the morning, having them at the right angle. So I really like this panel now. I just wanted to make sure the output was good. It really performs well. I'd say the main things that were questioning to me, and maybe my testing wasn't as in depth, but the USB-A port from this, it says quick charge 3.0 with a maximum of a 24 watt output, and I connected my USB-A to the power bank and I only got about 13 watts, both just from testing the solar panel and the USB-A port. That's it. And also testing it with the other inputs. This might have to do with my testing, but besides the USB-A output not being the 24 watt maximum, everything else worked great. And actually the USB-C port, when it wasn't connected to anything else, the solar panel performed above what it said. It said 45 watts maximum, but it actually output about 56 watts, which is, that never happens. Companies usually overstate what their systems can do, so that's very surprising to me. But overall, the test really performs well, and if you want to get this solar panel, you can check it out in the Amazon link in the description below, and they gave me a code to use. It's solar max, all caps, no spaces, and you can use it with the coupon. I think it's like a 6% off coupon, and then add the coupon code at checkout, so it's going to be in the checkout page. And I think the total for me with tax and the shipping, which was free for Amazon, was like $168 to $170, and I really think that's a steal with this panel because it does output its 80%, 81% efficiency, so you're going to get 96 watts, probably maximum with this on a good day. And yeah, so I definitely consider this. Check out the article in the description below. My article will go more in depth and compare it to some other systems, but otherwise, I hope you guys have a good one. Let me know what you guys think of this video and what else you guys want to see. See ya.